Hi everyone, tonight we're cooking you a nice meal, giving mommy the night off, so me, Montez and Shallow here will make you a brilliant pasta with nice prawns and a nice smoked pork fillet. Now, if you can come this way, you'll just see that here we've got all our ingredients stacked up. We already started the fire. So what we did with our prawns, on our prawns over here, we've just dusted it with a bit of corn flour and salt and pepper. So we're just going to brown it off a bit, because you would want to bring out the nice colors in it, as you can get a nice crackling. So it's important that you just basically just brown it off a bit, and once it's brown, then we're just going to add on the onions. But for now, let's just give it some time quickly just to brown a bit, and then we'll take it from there. Okay, so yeah, now what we've done, we've browned it nicely, but I don't want to overly brown it because we don't want to overdo it. So I'll just scoop it out a bit, and then with all its juicy flavors, I would just scoop it out, and then I would use the same pan and just turn it down slightly down a bit. And then what we want to do is we just want to put a small bit of butter, small knob of butter into the pan, because this is now where we're going to put our onions. So now what we do, we're not going to brown the onions, we're just going to saute the onions until they're nice translucent, and then from there onwards we'll just brown it, and then we'll add the rest of our ingredients just now. And now that we've sweat our onions nicely, we're going to take it off and just let it sit aside, because what's important now is that we just need to fry off just a little bit. We just need to fry off our pork. Now what's important, when you order yourself a nice good smoked piece of pork fillet, it's important that you ask your butcher to give you a nice juicy tender piece, so that it contains all that nice juicy flavor to it. So now we're going to take our smoked pork and add it to the pan, and remember, we don't want to get it crispy, we just want to brown it a bit so that we can get all that smoky flavor out. So once the smoked flavor is out, it's going to add more flavor to your pasta. And now that our pork is a bit brownish, we don't want to overdo it as well, because we want to keep all those flavors and those nice crispy bits from the onions and stuff. We want to keep all that flavor, so we're just going to let all of those sit for 1 second. But what's important now, we're going to turn up our pan just a little bit, and then from there onwards we're going to take a lekker knob of butter. So we're going to add butter to our pan, and this is now where we're going to start our nice white sauce. Now you would realize that in my butter, I've added just a small bit of herb, but the herbs is just to bring out that natural flavor and just make it taste and smell just a bit delicious in the kitchen as well.
That's good.
And now, as our butter is slowly melting, it's important now that we take our flour. So as this is melting off, we grab our flour so long. So over here, we just have about 2 to 3 tablespoons of nice Farina double O flour, and then we're going to add the flour to here. So now once the butter actually melted, we're just going to add our flour slowly. So we're going to put half of it in, then we're just going to mix it through slightly, but be careful, we shouldn't let this burn, otherwise you're going to mess everything up, you're going to lose all that beautiful flavor. So we're going to add the last bit to it, and as we put the last bit to it, we just mix it through, and we want it to form a nice paste. And then also the reason why we're frying it, because we don't want to have that floury taste to it. And I mean, this is beautiful. If you look at this, so what's important now is this is frying off and basically getting all those flavors out. Over here, I'm just going to grab some milk. So what I've done, I took a cup of milk and I've just added a bit of chicken stock to it. So now we're just going to mix that one last time, and then we're going to add our milk the first half, and then we're going to mix it through. It's also important, sometimes people prefer to have the milk warm, but it doesn't really matter because you want to have a nice consistency as well. So we're going to add the last bit to it, and I'm sure my wife is going to be very okay. And now we're adding our second cup of milk. But at this time, yes, we're adding our second cup of milk. I like it a bit creamy, so I would normally go and I would take cottage cheese and I would put in my cottage cheese and just nicely put in my cottage cheese because I would want to have that nice creamy flavor to it. And then once this is now all mixed through, that's now where the magic is going to happen. So I'm just going to mix this through slightly. And then once it's mixed through, we're going to put the rest of our ingredients in. Okay, so now that we've incorporated all our yummy milk into our cream, what's going to be better for us now is now that we're going to mix everything through. But before we do that, it's important that we just switch it off. And you know, I've got a mouse in my house, and my mouse in the house is normally responsible for the disappearance of the cheese. So yeah, what we've got some nice cheeses here. We've got two different cheeses that we're going to use. You can use mozzarella, you can use Gouda, you can use cheddar, you can use different cheeses depending on your taste bud. So Shiloh's going to do us the honor and she's going to add our cheese. And I mean, this is for the kiddies as well, so it's important that we take our kiddies along and let them just basically assist us in making the food. And at this stage also, you would want to add your flavors and your stuff. So now we're just going to mix that through nicely because you would want the cheese now to melt. But remember, your heat must be off, otherwise it's going to burn, and that's not what you want. Otherwise you're going to spoil a very good meal. Now at this stage, now we're going to add our nice aromatics to it. So what we normally use and that we prefer is normally we prefer inner almonds, nice lemon and black pepper, because it gives a nice flavor to it, a nice citrusy lemony flavor to it as well. So we prefer that. And let's not forget about the extra pepper. And I mean, if you prefer chilies, if you don't have kids, you can basically add your chilies to it and the kids will enjoy it. And then the special one, aromat. Let's not forget aromat, because aromat is the dynamite in giving it that extra cheesy flavor. And then we just whisk all of that through. And then once we're done with all the mixing of this, then we're going to add all our other yummy bits. And can you see the nice consistency? Because that's the consistency that we want. So once we're done with that consistency, we basically go and we add all the prawns and the smoked drip and the onions, all your hard work, the things that you made earlier on. And don't forget that small pieces, the nice oil on the plate, because that's all flavor and that's all that we need. And then also before we just, whoopsie, sorry about that. And once we mix all of that through, it's important that we just give it a wedge of lemon. It's important. Give it a nice wedge of lemon, and the lemon will give you that nice acidity as well. And then we're gonna give it a bit of parsley. It's important you just break down the parsley, and I mean, voila, and we're almost done. So as soon as we mix all of this through, it basically means that our meal is ready. And at this stage, incorporating all of this, remember we're not adding our pasta, because if you add your pasta to it now, you're going to run in the risk of your pasta basically disintegrating, and then it's going to be one big mushy mess. So once we're done here, we can just basically add our pasta. And then your pasta depends on how do you want it. How much of pasta do you want? Now what I did, I took 2 cups of nice elbow pasta, and then I just pre-cooked it with a bit of salt, olive oil and a bit of lemon just to give you that extra zest. But it's important you use your sea salt because your sea salt bring out all that flavor. And then once you're done, just mix all of this through. You can add a bit of coriander, and then you're done. So now what's important, you would see that the consistency is a bit too thick now. So what I normally do when I cook my pasta, I normally keep just a bit of those nice sauce, the water, because that's going to form the nice sauce. So I'm going to add about half a cup of it, because you would want to have it a bit runny as well. You don't want it too dry, otherwise you're going to be in problems with the kid. So what we do, we just turn up our heat a bit, and then we take it from there onwards. So we just mix it through with all that nice yummy water, and can you see the effect of all the different cheeses? And remember, we don't want to make it overly cheesy because you want to taste the prawns, you want to taste, and I mean you can add anything to this. You can put ham, you can put cold meats, you can put just anything. But ladies and gents, this is about the 20 minutes. I mean, any man, any father and his kids can spoil his beautiful wife to such a special meal. And I mean, she would love it. She would eat out of your hand afterwards. So, voila, ladies and gentlemen, there's your nice prawn and smoked pork fillet. Bon appetit. So voila, this is our final product. So as you can see, it's time for us to dig in. So firstly, we're gonna have some Vermontes, some nice prawns and stuff inside, and you can put extra cheese later on. You can put a bit of olive oil, you can put a bit of chili on it, depending on how you want it. And now for the lady of the moment whose idea it was, Shiloh wanted cheese and mac and cheese and cheese and cheese. So from us, ladies and gentlemen,
Happy